Mena hoped this pregnancy would be her fresh start, a new chapter full with hope, healing, and happiness. But now alarming claims are emerging online alleging that something could be severely wrong with her unborn child. According to sources close to the case, Erica was recently brought to the hospital after suffering what insiders describe as a medical emergency that left physicians gravely worried. Whispers are flying like wildfire, and although Erica hasn't verified anything yet, her silence is just fanning further suspicion. Is her kid in serious danger? And how did the doctors discover fans are stunned, and social media is exploding with hypotheses, worries, and prayers. Insiders are circulating suggestions about a probable pregnancy issue that may alter everything for the reality star. It's stress-related. Some feel it's something much more severe. Whatever the reality, it's evident that Erica and her tight circle are trying all they can to keep things under wraps, but the cracks are beginning to emerge. Could this issue put both mother and baby at peril, or is the truth being kept to preserve someone's image? The emotional storm developing behind the scenes is not, and what we're hearing next could just crush your heart. It all started with a strange post late at night on a fan page closely affiliated with Erica. The page published a fuzzy snapshot of what looked to be Erica entering a hospital, with the text, "Prayers up for Erica." Sources claim she's not well within minutes. People were swarming the comments demanding answers. Some assumed it was clickbait, while others had a nagging sensation that something was badly wrong, and then not even an hour later the picture was proven to be true. Erica had definitely been brought to the hospital, and whispers rapidly arose, spreading that it had anything to do with her pregnancy. The quiet from Erica's official accounts made things even more dramatic. People were accustomed to her uploading daily selfie quips, footage of her kids, but now nothing her Instagram account. Formerly packed with outfit checks and behind-the-scenes insights into her life, had been absolutely blank for 2 days. The vibe changed internet admirers, who formerly ridiculed her for drama or prior relationships, were suddenly united in anxiety. Something felt profoundly off. An unsubstantiated but prominent celebrity gossip portal then released a bombshell, claiming to have inside sources disclosed that physicians had found an uncommon issue with Erica's pregnancy. But they didn't go into detail, using terminology like emergency monitoring, danger to the baby's health, and urgent. Within hours, the hashtags Pray for Erica and Sark Eric Happy Health were trending, and fans started posting own tales of pregnancy issues in hopes that she would pull through. Through whatever she was enduring, suspicions popped everywhere. Some suspected it was stress-related, considering her recent social media expenses and tearful interviews, while others placed accusations at Safferie Erica's divorce, stating that his absence and lack of support might have played a factor. Several pointed out how during her prior pregnancy, Erica had broken down publicly due to feeling abandoned. One fan said, "She's gone through enough if this guy drove her to the disturbing revelation that threw the internet into a spiral was that a nurse reportedly working at the hospital where Erica was treated messaged an anonymous rumor account. She stated that physicians had discussed something called placental insufficiency, a disease that, while it was not officially proven, the mere notion of a medical problem sent shockwaves across Erica's spam base. People began researching the ailment and sending medical articles and expressing their anxieties. Comments ranging from "this may be extremely harmful, if not found early," to "I went through this and almost cost me my baby" as the rumor mill spun. Faster attention turned to Safferie, who stayed utterly quiet. He hadn't written anything, no recognition, no concern, not even a vague prayer emoji, and for many fans, that was unacceptable words. Began flooding his earlier posts demanding a reaction. One person commented, "Your baby mama is in the hospital and you're just out here posting gym selfies, disgusting." Others weren't as diplomatic, driving him for his previous conduct and calling him out for being the reason she's so worried. A few eagle-eyed followers pointed out that Safferie had been observed at an event the same night Erica had supposedly revealed he was spotted smiling with friends dressed casually and seeming carefree. Soon, the image reached the blogosphere. It was over. People were outraged with them. It wasn't just neglect, it was total emotion. Maybe losing their kid and he's out there behaving like it's a typical Saturday. This is absolutely cruel. Meanwhile, sources close to Erica's team indicated that she has been under a significant amount of stress in recent weeks. Legal troubles, with her exes attempting to shield her children from public attention and rebuilding her image after many scandals, she had hardly been sleeping or eating. Another insider mentioned that Erica had gotten some disturbing test results a few days before the hospital visit and had arranged an emergency examination, which escalated into a full-blown stay as physicians observed symptoms of fetal distress. One witness even reported that Erica collapsed. Shortly after arriving at the hospital, the story went viral in minutes, and others speculated about what caused her to fall, whether it was physical tiredness, mental anguish, or something else. Fans were yearning for solid information about the pregnancy, so a few internet journalists attempted to contact her team, but all they received was a terse statement reading, "Erica is presently. During our medical treatment, we requested privacy." The last thing the internet wanted. The more quiet came from her side, the louder the clamor became. And just when it seemed like the conjecture couldn't go much further, another anonymous tip landed. This time it was someone claiming to be a friend of a nurse working on the same floor. The letter was brief but scary. She's been weeping nonstop, and they're monitoring the baby every hour. This additional tidbit, Erica, who was previously brave, fierce, and apparently untouchable, is now reduced to tears, gripping her tummy and pleading for her unborn kid struck agreement with admirers throughout the globe. Some began filming video messages of support and posted them under the popular hashtags, while others lit candles, formed virtual prayer circles, and even tagged celebrities who were acquainted with Erica, urging them to speak out and provide support. One of the most sad moments occurred when an Erica reposted a video in which she discussed parenthood, adding, "I would do everything for my kids. I may make errors, but they are my everything." The footage went viral again, but now seen through a whole new lens. People weren't simply seeing the celebrity anymore. They were witnessing a mother afraid and vulnerable. Confronting any parent's worst fear, photographers ultimately got a sight of someone being taken into a hospital ward under high security. Though the face wasn't visible, supporters were certain it was Erica the person was crouched over. Face obscured by a sweatshirt and surrounded by nurses, one witness claimed she heard someone weeping quietly as the wheelchair passed. This minor detail was enough to ignite another wave of sadness online. Not shortly later, a close friend of Erica wrote a mysterious statement on her Instagram story. "God, please protect my sister. She does not deserve this pain." She did not identify Erica specifically, but supporters instantly established the link. Messages of support flooded into her DMs, and shortly after, the friend erased the article, probably worried she had shared too much, but the harm had already been done. It was evident that whatever was going on inside that hospital room was very raw and terrible, and just as fans were trying to catch their breath, another rumor broke. Erica had temporarily lost consciousness, and physicians were planning for an emergency birth if the baby's health did not stabilize within the next 48 hours. Like a gut blow, emotions were high, and the internet was now holding its collective breath when the most gut-wrenching picture of all appeared. The photograph wasn't supposed to be public, but someone from within the hospital leaked it, uploaded anonymously on a gossip site, and within minutes it spread like wildfire throughout social media. The picture depicted a lady laying in a hospital bed, surrounded by monitoring cables tied to her arms, her face turned away from the camera beside her. A guy sat with his head down, clutching her hand. While the faces were blurred for privacy, admirers were confident it was Erica. They pointed out the tattoos, bracelet design, and even the unique shape of her nose just barely visible in the side profile. And if the lady was Erica, the guy seated despite the pandemonium online, there could only be one person next to her, Safferie. Someone firmly stated that he arrived there and joined the chat right away. People who had been dragging him hours ago were suddenly perplexed, some optimistic, some doubtful. One admirer remarked, "If that's really him, maybe he does. Maybe he arrived late, but he came nonetheless." Another said coldly, "Too." But what truly threw everyone? The notion that Safferie hadn't arrived on his own, according to a medical staff member speaking under anonymously, was that Erica's mother had contacted him in despair. She reportedly informed him that things were becoming worse, and that if he didn't come immediately, he may miss something. He'd never forgive himself for the thought that Safferie had to be pushed to see his child's mother when she was potentially losing their kid, sparked the outrage tenfold behind the scenes. More worrying news was emerging. A source close to the medical staff said that Erica's health was not improving. The baby's heart rate was changing, and physicians were worried about extended oxygen deprivation. But they hadn't rushed into an emergency C-section just yet. They were watching her minute by minute, keeping the surgical team on standby. Fans, who were already upset, were now on edge. Many moms who had gone through similar scares began sharing their stories online, generating posts filled with love, anxiety, and hope. One member posted, "I had the same situation. My kid was delivered at 29 weeks and was in NICU for months. But miracles happen. Stay strong, Erica." Celebrities who had formerly been a former co-star from Erica's reality program days uploaded a throwback picture with the remark, "Sending love and strength to my lady. You've always been a others donated." Flowers to the hospital, and admirers saw delivery vehicles and bouquets. Being swept into the tsunami of support just highlighted how terrible things were. Then came a modest but strong update. A prominent gossip site got a post from someone who claimed to be far away. Erica's cousin commented, "I talked with her sister. She claimed Erica opened her eyes for a minute and inquired about the baby. She's conscious now, but extremely weak, afraid." The statement sent shivers down the spines everywhere fans couldn't conceive. What it must be like to wake up in a hospital bed, unclear whether your kid is still all right, surrounded by machines and yearning for a miracle, just as a feeling of fragile optimism started to grow. Another twist broke everything. Someone uploaded audio apparently from a discussion between hospital workers, and while voices were distorted, the substance was enough to provoke enormous terror. One nurse, "She's bleeding again. They might not be able to wait, and if the baby doesn't stabilize in the next hour, they'll take it out." Torthwo. While the clip's legitimacy couldn't be completely established, its tone, timing, and the way it corresponded with prior disclosures led fans to think that the hashtag #DarSeverasby started trending internationally. Even folks who were not fans previously were suddenly following the story. News outlets began circling, attempting to reach out for remarks, but Erica's team remained mute. The only thing anybody knew for certain was that it wasn't some inflated tabloid fiction anymore. What was occurring inside that hospital room was terrifyingly true. Around that time, a bizarre live video surfaced on Safferie's page, which only it lasted perhaps 15 seconds before being erased, but it was long enough to leave many stunned in. The dimly lighted, someone in the hospital, perhaps Safferie, was spotted walking back and forth and chatting furiously on the phone, yet the voice was distorted. One syllable was barely discernible. "I didn't believe it would get this awful." That little footage simply fueled the flames. People started asking the crucial, did Safferie overlook danger signs? Had Erica attempted to tell him something? Were not right? Was the mental stress she suffered during their relationship now taking a toll on her? One blog article, headlined, "Did Safferie's neglect endanger their baby?" It received over 200,000 views in a few hours as emotions ran high. More information began. One close friend of Erica's tweeted and then deleted a tweet that stated, "This might have been stopped. She asked for peace and repose, but you continued dragging her name, breaking her down." The letter seemed like a direct strike, not just on Safferie, but also on the media, fans, and anybody who had criticized Erica. Over the years, within the facility, things were heated. According to someone acquainted with the issue, said that physicians were in regular touch with the neonatal team, and an incubator already been carried into the delivery wing just in case one worker whispered to a reporter, "They're preparing for the worst-case scenario, hoping for the best." Back online, fans were organizing support. People constructed prayer rooms on the clubhouse and broadcast live feeds of tranquility, holding its breath for one lady and her unborn child. And just when everything seemed incredibly frail, a new message was posted to Erica's secret fan group. Admin claimed to have talked with someone in the family and said, "She's going into surgery. Pray harder than ever." That the message was screenshotted and posted across all platforms where it was occurring. After hours of doubt, it seemed that the physicians had chosen to act, either to preserve the infant Erica or no one could determine for sure. But when emotions flared, individuals started placing prayers on all uppercase sobbing emojis and presents of candles. Others penned open letters to Erica, reminding her how much strength she has showed. Some prepared tribute movies showcasing her prior moments of strength. From her tough realities, to confrontations, to her most sensitive interviews as a mother right now. She wasn't simply a celebrity. She was a mom battling for her kid, and the world was watching. As the chamber doors closed behind her, and the question on everyone's lips was the same. Will both of them make it out alive? Erica lay asleep in the hospital's antiseptic, anxious operating room. Surrounded by a swarm of professionals, monitors beeped in irregular patterns. The anesthesiologist adjusted her breathing, and the obstetrician gave a curt nod. "We can't wait any longer," one doctor stated solemnly. "We need to pull the baby out right away." With that, the room sank into a profound quiet, interrupted only by the hurried noises of preparing nurses. Safferie sat at the far wall outside the chamber, his equipment clinking as the incubator warmed up. On a seat with his head in his hands for the first time, he seemed absolutely shattered to passers-by who barely walked by. Recognized the guy who was previously renowned for his lavish lifestyle and incessant grin. Was not shooting this moment. He wasn't broadcasting it. There was no audience here, just terror, according to someone close to him. He hadn't spoken anything in almost 20 minutes, simply whispered, "Please." Not like this, neither her nor the kid. Meanwhile, back in the waiting room, Erica's mother sat quietly, holding a rosary and whispering prayers below her. Her eyes were red and puffy, and if a doctor went by without, her heart skipped when a by. Nurse approached briefly and stated, "We'll let you'll know as soon as there's an update." But it wasn't enough. Nothing would be enough until she met her daughter. Fans gathered outside the hospital as she breathed and her youngster cried. They weren't screaming or creating commotion. They were just standing together, with some carrying placards, some holding candles, and a few even singing quiet lullabies. What began as gossip had transformed into something deeper. Strangers from different cities and states were joined by worry for a lady they only knew from their screens, but immediately felt. Closely linked to within the surgical area, time seemed to freeze the physicians. Made the incision, the room's energy transformed to razor-sharp attention on the infant. Was not optimally positioned, and problems made the birth stressful. "We need to work fast," one doctor remarked. Within seconds, a delicate, small body was taken out, and quiet fear set in. A nurse whispered, and a specialist hurried forward, clamping and cutting. Moving rapidly to revive the baby's limbs were lifeless, the color pallid seconds. After what seemed like hours, there was a feeble scream that could barely be heard, but enough. "To halt every heart in the room, we have something," the nurse remarked, in her voice. Cracking with emotion, but the moment of relief was short-lived. "We've hemorrhage," another doctor cried, pointing to Erica. Her pressure was dropping quickly as one team took the infant into neonatal critical care. Bags were ordered while the others concentrated only on rescuing Erica. Machines beeped louder. Someone phoned for assistance. It was mayhem yet controlled. Every single individual in the room gave their all, since this wasn't just another patient. This was a mother, a warrior, whose tale had affected millions of people. The baby's wail and Erica's continuous battle reached the waiting room quickly. Her mother sank into a chair, weeping violently. Safferie rose suddenly and pounded the wall, so hard. Security approached, wondering whether to interfere, but he didn't need security. He needed time, forgiveness, and trust. Believed he had already squandered, news of the baby's survival was shared by a nurse's buddy on a secret Facebook page. The post on the baby's page stated, "Tiny but breathing, they say it's critical yet hopeful." Update felt like an emotional roller coaster. Nearly 40 minutes after the procedure started, a doctor. Finally, he emerged and proceeded carefully toward the waiting family, removing his mask. Expression was sad, but not defeated. "She's stable," he answered calmly. "We were able to stop the bleeding. It's going to be a long recovery, but she made it to the room." Erupted. Erica's mother let out a scream that changed into screams of relief. Safferie went to his knees and shattered, down entirely, tears overflowing his cheeks. Nurses nearby glanced aside politely. Giving the family a moment of quiet, even the security personnel standing close wiped their eyes discreetly over social. The celebration was quick, and Namberroris Durkika. Fighters started trending among supporters, shared photographs, words of support, and old footage of her speaking about parenthood. One admirer said, "You can go through hell and back, and yet stand tall. You got this." Another added, "This. The kid was born out of strength, not anything else." However, with the relief came a new set of concerns. The infant was delivered dangerously early. Doctors estimated around 28 to 30 weeks gestation. Problems may include undeveloped lungs and low birth weight. Considering dangers of infection, an extended stay in the NICU was unavoidable every hour. Be crucial. And then came another twist, according to a nurse at the hospital. According to the source, Safferie and Erica's sister had a heated confrontation, during which the sister shouted, "Don't you dare to behave like a hero now when she has nearly died, and you were not there when she needed you the most?" Safferie supposedly said, "I'm here now. I had no idea it was this awful." The sister reportedly, "You didn't know because you weren't listening. You never listen." The friction between the families, now revealed, added a whole new element of drama. Fans backed Safferie, claiming individuals adapt when confronted with grief. Others sided. Erica's family believe his tears came too late,